Number 5, a financial plan. It's one of our favorite parts. Most people pass through this. You need to stay on it. It's about your startup success. This is so important that it really does deserve special attention. For some people, like a lender, a family member or friend, investor, this is the most important part of your startup plan because it spells out how you'll survive and, of course, how they'll get their money back with their profit. Again, like the business plan itself, you don't need to invent a format for this. Plenty exist online for you to download that have templates and formulas. If you don't have one already, search online for something like Business Startup Financial Template. The templates have some common elements which I'll briefly explain to you. And by the way, let me pause for a moment here to talk about formatting this next part. While your business plan should be written in a word processing document like Word or a presentation document like PowerPoint, you really need to build your business financials in a spreadsheet program like Excel. You're going to be working with a bunch of numbers and making some assumptions when you build this. So you want a program that knows how to handle numbers and how to make those numbers useful to you, as well as useful to any investors and lenders and your key employees and team members. Not yet comfortable with spreadsheets? That's okay. Nobody said this epic journey would be easy. But remember, many before you have built those templates I mentioned to support your journey, so use them. Okay, so what goes into your startup financial spreadsheet? First is sources of funds. Your first version of this spreadsheet should start with the sources of money you're counting on to open the doors of your business. Your first sources probably include your savings plus your income from an existing job. Next, do you have any startup funds from an investor? This could be a spouse, a friend, a relative. It could be from partners in the business, or it could just be from people who believe in you. If you plan to borrow money, be it from friends and family, credit cards, home equity, or a specialized lender, you'll want to list all of those loans as a source of startup funds. A quick function on your spreadsheet will tell you the total amount of money you have to work with before you get going. The second, startup costs. In the next part of the spreadsheet, possibly right underneath your sources of funds, you'll need to list all of the costs you can think of that you'll be needing to start your business going. Every startup business has different costs, but your business probably has some of the following. You may have professional costs from hiring an attorney, a graphic designer, a real estate agent, an accountant or bookkeeper, as well as potentially any legal costs for setting up your structure. You may need to buy inventory to prepare for sales or the materials needed to make your product. Office supplies, including computer and telephone equipment, are a must. Unless you plan to launch your business from home, you'll need to consider the cost of down payment on a space, initial rent, and the cost of building out your space to suit your business. If you're leasing, it's smart to meet with someone who is investing in you or a friend or colleague who has expertise in leases. Leases are an important part of starting a business and can sometimes take away many more resources than you expected when you start up. You don't want to forget to account for initial sales and marketing costs, as otherwise your customers might not know you exist. At the end of the day, you know best what else your business requires. The key here is to get it all listed and estimated in your spreadsheet before you launch. Once you've made the complete list, add up all those startup costs. Here's where you need to compare your lists of costs with your list of sources of funds. At the risk of stating the obvious, you may have to adjust upward the amount of personal savings you'll need to use or the size of a loan you'll need to obtain just to cover your estimated startup costs. But wait, you're not yet done with your financial startup plan. I learned something about budgeting while traveling to risky places when I was younger that I think applies to starting up a business. The advice was this: lay out all the luggage you plan to bring with you in one pile. Then, in another pile, lay down all the money you plan to bring on your trip. Now take half the luggage and twice the money. The lesson for entrepreneurs is this: go back over your estimated costs again and see what you can reduce, because you might have to start up leaner. Then revisit your sources of funds and figure out where you can get more, because you might need twice as much money as you originally estimated. Once you've refined your startup budget, you can finish out your business plan. Did the process of making your initial budget change your business plan at all? That's okay. It's realistic. Here's a really important point about first writing your business plan and startup budget. These are not just pieces of paper you write once and slip into a drawer to be quickly forgotten. If done well, your business plan with startup budget can help you get allies, customers, partners, lenders, and investors. If done well, they can be your personal map on your startup journey. You'll want to revisit these plans in 1 month, 6 months, a year, and even 3 years. How well did your map show the way? Where did you get lost? Can you return to that point and improve your business again? I want to conclude with 2 final thoughts about the difficulty of preparing your business plan and startup budget. First, what if writing your business plan and budget is very difficult for you? What if you don't know the answers to these questions? You know what I think? I think that's good. In fact, that's great, because that means you're identifying weaknesses in your startup business plan. These are the parts to pay the closest attention to. Nobody has all the answers at first. There's no perfect starter manual for entrepreneurs. Pay close attention to the most difficult parts, because that's where you need to grow in the years ahead. It's better to know your challenges before you launch. Identifying your weaknesses, in fact, is the most important part about writing your business plan. Second, when it comes to these difficult parts, you can get help. Many entrepreneurs have spent numerous, long, frustrating days at a business library before launching their businesses. There are many resources, including retired business people who love to offer advice and review startup business plans. Many libraries can put you in touch with people like this. Your lender or bank may have a program for helping small businesses. Thousands of people are right now trying to figure out the answers to the same questions you probably also have. In the course of writing your business plan and startup budget, hopefully you will figure out a bunch of ways in which you need other people's help. You may want to look into joining a small business networking group just after launching your business, precisely because none of us have all the answers, but all of us together have most of the answers. Best of luck with your startup journey.